will give you a crash course on how to succeed academically in law school and graduate at the top of your law school class. I'll tell you the exact strategy that I used to graduate #1 in my law school class of over 200 students. This same strategy has also since helped hundreds of our law students succeed in law school. But first, if you have not already, please sign up for our completely free law school prep course, which is linked below. The Crash Law School Prep course is a brief overview of that, but that course goes into a lot more depth on all of the things I'll be talking about and also covers the substantive law, legal writing and research, and more. So it is well worth it to sign up, and it's completely free. Lastly, if you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel. In this crash course, I'll discuss first the main differences between law school and college. Second, a strategy that you can use to excel in law school and graduate at the top of your class. And lastly, what a typical day will look like if you want to graduate at the top of your class. I'll also be telling you a few other important and less known tips for you to keep in mind if you want to excel in law school. Because when you go to law school, no one will actually tell you how to succeed. In fact, if anything, some professors emphasize case reading and briefing, which is actually not the key to excelling on law school exams. I will tell you how to succeed here. But before we cover all of that, I want to answer the question, what is the difference between an A law student and a B or C law student? Some might think that an A law student is among the smartest and hardest working of the class. However, that is not necessarily true. I graduated #1 in my class out of over 200 students, but I was not the smartest. So many of my classmates picked up information faster than I did and were smarter than I was. And nor did I work the longest hours. I worked very hard in law school, but I also took 1 full day a week off of studying. Others might think that an A law student has a vast legal network to get advice from. This is also not necessarily true. I did not have any lawyers in my family when I went to law school, and nor did I know any attorneys when I started law school. So if I wasn't the smartest, did not work the longest hours, and knew no attorneys, what allowed me to graduate #1 in my class? The differentiator, what allowed me to graduate #1 in my class, and what has allowed so many of our students to similarly excel in law school, was that I had a good strategy. A good strategy is critical if you want to get an A in a law school class rather than a B or C. And that is what I'm going to explain in the next few minutes. But before I talk about the strategy, I want to talk about a few main differences between law school and college so that you understand why you need a specific strategy to excel in law school and why you cannot necessarily do the exact same thing that you did in college and expect to excel in law school. In law school, you'll have substantive law classes like torts, property, contracts, criminal law, civil procedure, and constitutional law. You'll also likely have a legal writing class, which may or may not be assigned a grade. For all of your substantive law school classes, everything besides legal writing, you'll likely be assigned a reading every night. A professor will tell you to read several cases in preparation for class. You will not have a textbook that clearly tells you what you need to know, like you might have in undergrad. Instead, you'll have a case book. Cases are basically opinions written by judges. So basically, judges are saying why a case should turn out a specific way. The case opinion will usually recite the facts of the case, like what happened. Sometimes they'll also state the procedural history, so basically how it got to this court, the relevant legal rules of law, and then in their analysis, they will apply that rule to say who should win the case. The plaintiff, that is the person bringing the case, or the defendant, that is the person defending the case. Some cases are archaic and difficult to read. Others are modern and easier to understand. Some cases are in your casebook because they are seminal cases that illustrate the general rule of law or the history of how the law came to be. Others are in your casebook because the judge got the law wrong, and it is actually an example of bad legal reasoning. So unlike a textbook, a casebook does not directly tell you what you need to know. It is literally just a book full of cases. That's why it's called a casebook. Almost all of the assigned work throughout the semester, besides whatever your legal writing professor assigns, will be reading cases. So you'll read these cases before class, and then you'll go to class. This brings us to another difference between college and law school. In college, you may be used to a professor lecturing. In law school, instead of simply telling you what the law is or lecturing on the law, most professors will actually choose a student to answer questions in class. This is called the Socratic Method. And when you are asked questions, that is called being on call. Sometimes the professor asks students at random. Other times they'll let you sign up for a day to be on call, or they will just go in alphabetical order or up and down rows or something like that. The professor will ask questions about the assigned reading. The goal of the Socratic Method is to ask questions until you no longer know the answer. So do not worry if you don't know the answer to every question. If you are familiar with the cases, you will be fine. Also, you are not graded on how well you perform on call, so do not worry too much about this. It should really not affect your final grade. Sometimes a professor will only keep you on call for 5 minutes. Other times they'll keep you on call for a longer period of time. Occasionally they'll keep students on call for the whole class period. And that is basically how every day will go in the semester. You have assigned reading every night, then you go to class and discuss the reading, and then you will have a final exam at the end of the semester. So in a traditional law school class, you do not have papers or quizzes throughout the semester. This final exam at the end of the semester, usually makes up 100% of your grade for that class. That means that your class ranking is completely dependent on how you perform on your final exams. Most law schools do not offer graded feedback outside of that final exam. The one exception to this is a legal writing class where you probably will have a paper or two that make up your final grade. Occasionally, a law school professor will offer a midterm, but often this is worth a low amount, like 10% of your grade, or sometimes it is not worth anything. Most professors do not offer midterms. To make things more stressful, your first year of law school is likely graded on a strict curve. So the vast majority of students will not get A's. Most students will get B's or C's, and only a small percentage of students will get A's. That is why getting an A in law school means a lot your first year. And that is also why it unlocks the most opportunities, including the most competitive jobs, internships, and extracurricular activities. The vast majority of employers, especially if you want to work at a law firm, will look at your first year grades when making hiring decisions. This will be a major factor for most law firms. So if we are working backwards and we ask, how do I maximize my employment opportunities over the summer, during and after law school, and also unlock other opportunities like maximizing your chances of passing the bar exam, then we find that you have to get good grades your first year of law school. So then the question becomes, how do I get good grades? Well, for most classes, there's only one thing graded, and that's the final exam. So the answer is you have to perform well on the final exam. So the real question that we're asking here is, how do I do well in my final exams? And that's what we'll talk about next. First, to do well on your final exams, you have to study for the final exam all throughout the semester. Do not fall into the trap of merely doing the reading for class, and then going to class, and then reading again for the next class, and then going to the class, lather, rinse, repeat. That will not get you a high class ranking. You cannot wait until 2 weeks before the final exam to start thinking about the final exam, or you will not do well. The final exam should be your focus from the first day of law school if you really want to excel. So let's take a minute to talk about what the final exam is. The final exam is probably unlike any exam you likely took in college. It's not usually short answer or true-false. Instead, it tests critical issue spotting skills and analysis. So it's typically composed of a fact pattern, which is a fancy way to say a story, and you are expected to dissect this fact pattern, find the legal issues, state the rules of law, apply the law, and arrive at a conclusion for each issue. They call this the IRAC method, which stands for Issue, Rule, Analysis, and Conclusion. For example, a fact pattern might say that 2 customers are at a shooting range when a man walks in unexpectedly. That man unfortunately gets shot. He sues the customer that shot him, the owner of the place for the setup, and the manufacturer of the gun, under theories of negligence and strict liability. They respond by saying that he was actually negligent to walk right in front of them while they were firing their weapons. The fact pattern might simply say, discuss the issues. So this is not testing the facts of cases that you might have been assigned throughout law school. Instead, you are supposed to spot the legal issues, like negligence or strict liability, apply those laws to the facts, and arrive at conclusions. Some fact patterns are quite convoluted and might involve multiple parties and multiple issues, and you can see why it's important to prepare ahead of time with a good strategy. Before I dive into the strategy, I want to take a minute to summarize the 3 takeaways from what I've said so far. Then we'll go on to discuss a specific law school strategy. First, you can graduate at the top of your class even if you are a first-gen student with no attorneys in your family, even if you are not the smartest person in your class, and even if you take some time off throughout the semester and have a life outside of law school. This describes not only me, but many of our law students that we tutor. Second, law school is different than college. So you cannot use the exact same strategy that you used in college to succeed in law school. You need a different strategy. And you also cannot simply work hard to succeed in law school. You need to work smart. Lastly, if you want to excel academically in law school, we recommend that you focus on the final exam from the beginning of the semester, using the strategy that we are about to talk about next.